Welcome back, Petapixel viewers. It is Chris Nichols here, and we're continuing our series where we take a look at our favorite lenses, both Jordan and mine, from a particular lens mount. And today we're looking at Nikkor Z mount. So before we get into all these beautiful Nikon Z mount lenses, you should check out KH.com, because if you're looking to shop for lenses yourself, maybe you want to sell some of your old gear and upgrade, or maybe you're just looking to buy something used and save some money, KH.com is a great website to check out. Now, when we talk about KH, we're usually talking about lenses and bodies, but the fact of the matter is they sell a whole bunch of stuff. They've got a lot of new gear to purchase, but you can also get tripods, mount adapters, filters, bags and cases, lighting, and so much more. If you're into analog photography, KH.com sells both the film cameras and the film that you would need to get started. And you know, the best thing about KH is if you're selling gear to them, you know that you're gonna get a fair price, you're gonna get paid promptly. And if you're buying gear from them, you know that their specialists have checked them all out, they're gonna be in great working order, and you'll always know exactly what you're getting before you buy it. You also get their 180-day guarantee to know that if there are any problems, they'll take care of it for you. That is why KH.com is Petapixel's official pre-owned camera gear partner. Now, just to clarify, today we're going to be talking about full-frame Nikon Z mount lenses, because the fact of the matter is Nikon doesn't really have a ton of APS-C lenses. Their full-frame bodies are by far the more popular bodies. That's what we're really going to be talking about today. So let's get started with our first category, ultra-wides. So choosing a good ultra-wide lens is very important because it's got to be versatile, and you might use this for astrophotography or general landscapes. You might use it for architecture and cityscapes, and Nikon Z mount actually gives you a lot of really good choices. So one that we did really like was the 14-30 f4. I mean, it's lightweight, it's compact, very sharp, but we want something with a little bit more light gathering. So Jordan's favorite lens, his pick here is the beautiful Nikkor 20mm f1.8. It's a versatile wide-angle lens that you can always crop into. It does give you a lot of light, better for astrophotography, and so that's a really good choice. But for me, my choice is going to be a classic. It's going to be the 14-24 f2.8. I really like this lens for a lot of reasons. First off, Nikon managed to make it incredibly lightweight, just under 700 grams. I mean, that was a real achievement for a 2.8 lens. Also, incredibly, with the hood adapter, you can put on 112mm filters. I know that's very large and expensive, but at least it gives you the option for an in front of the lens filter. Most importantly, a 14-24 is very versatile, and with that f2.8 aperture, I could even use it for some low light photography. Okay, so who doesn't love a 50mm lens? Next, we're going to talk about your favorite normal prime lens. Now, there's some interesting options here from Nikon. The first one I'm going to mention, the 58mm f.95 Noct, and this is our favorite lens as a unit of measurement. I mean, it is a beautiful lens optically, but insanely impractical for pretty much everybody. But the fact that it weighs exactly 2 kilograms makes it an awesome unit of measurement, and we love it for that. But what about something maybe a little bit more reasonable? The 50mm f1.2 S-line lens, very good optically, sharp, wide open, but again, it's a pretty niche product. You don't have a lot of situations where you really need that 1.2 aperture or that shallow depth of field. The lens is very expensive and it's physically huge. If you need 1.2, yes, it's a great option, but far more versatile and practical is going to be the 50mm 1.8. Now, Nikon does something a little bit different with their 50mm 1.8, where most companies make this a very affordable, bare bones entry-level lens. Nikon decided to make a stellar 50mm 1.8, sharp, wide open, all the way through its aperture range, well built and sealed, still light and compact that you can take it anywhere. This is really a high-grade 50mm 1.8 for the discerning photographer. Next, let's talk about the one lens that almost every photographer needs to have in their camera bag, and that is the standard general purpose zoom. We have a lot to talk about because Nikkor Z mount has tons of options here. Let's start with the Nikkor 24-70 f4. It's a great lens, compact, sharp, affordable. It's a really nice entry point into having a good general purpose lens. Now, if you want a general zoom that has a 2.8 aperture that's affordable, Nikon does make the 20-75 f2.8, and it is a decent lens, but it's based off the Tamron design, and frankly, this is where third-party makes more sense, because the latest Tamron 2875 version 2 that's f2.8 is even better optically. It's a very big improvement, and it's about the same price. I would definitely pick that lens up. As well, Tamron also makes Jordan's pick for his favorite general purpose zoom. That's the Tamron 35-150 f2-2.8. It's bright, it covers a huge versatile range, it's very good optically, and if you already have nice wide-angle lenses, it complements this range very nicely to get you into even telephoto portraiture or longer distance shooting. So you might be expecting me to say then that my favorite lens is the Nikon 24-70 f2.8. I mean, it's expensive, but it's professional to the max. Very sharp, wide open, optically corrected beautifully. They even made it lighter and more compact, but it's actually not my favorite choice. My favorite choice is actually this lens that's on the Z8 right now, and that's the 24-120 f4. There's just something that's so nice about the versatility of a 24-120, and I don't mind losing some of the light here, because the funny thing is, every shot that I take with the 24-120 f4, I just end up loving. We get a lot of comments about the images on this lens as well. It's optically fantastic, it's sharp at f4, it has beautiful sun stars, and it's just the best like walk around travel kind of lens for a Nikon body. It's perfectly suited on the higher resolution sensors, it's affordable, there's nothing I can say bad about this lens, and so many good things that I love about it. Okay, so now we're going to talk about telephoto zoom lenses, and this is a pretty broad category, but we're going to cover a lot because Jordan's pick for his favorite telephoto zoom is the 180-600. Now, it's an f5.6 to 6.3, not tremendously fast, but it's optically beautiful, and most importantly, it gives you tremendous telephoto range while still being affordable. I mean, when people were buying Nikon Z8s to go do wildlife, they almost invariably bought this lens as well because it was a great entryway into fantastic wildlife photography. As long as you have good light, if you're going African safari or something like that, it is lightweight considering the range it gives you, and it's just sharp, sharp, sharp. But my pick is going to be the Nikkor 70-200 f2.8 VR. This is just a quintessentially professional lens, so versatile. I mean, a classic choice. These are great for portrait work, studio work, indoor low light photography, concerts, weddings, journalism, even sports and action. And you can always throw a 2x converter on it if you want more range. You're still going to get a decent amount of light. But we compared the Nikkor 70-200 against its Canon, Panasonic, and Sony counterparts. And though it's a little bit larger and heavier than those other lenses, it was also the sharpest. It's just head and shoulders above the other lenses in terms of optical performance. And so even to this day, it is just a fantastic choice for anybody that wants a versatile telephoto. Now, what if you want a dedicated prime lens for shallow depth of field shooting for portraiture? Well, I've always preferred an 85mm focal length, and Nikon makes some great lenses. The 85-1.8 is affordable and it's sharp, and honestly, for most portrait situations, that's all you'll ever need. I do, though, really like the 85mm 1.2. I don't normally go for that shallow depth of field, but when you want the look, you want it to be maximum, and this does it beautifully. Very sharp, wide open at 1.2. This was an optical achievement, but another great way to get a similar amount of shallow depth of field and save some money and get a very interesting focal length for both head and shoulders and full body if you've got the space is to go with our choice. Jordan and I agree, the Nikkor 135mm f1.8 Plena. This gives you beautiful shallow depth of field for head and shoulder shots, tight compression, flat background, but if you can back up and shoot full body, it's a dramatic looking shot. They even gave it its own name. All right, it's our last category. This is the realm of the high-end wildlife and distance sport photographer, the Super Telephoto Prime Lens. Now, Nikkor Z mount has some of the best options you will find out of any camera lens mount. In fact, I would say Nikon really have done the most work to give you a full-fledged line of choices when it comes to wildlife sports and action shooting. First off, you've got some beautiful choices like the 400mm f2.8 and the 600mm f4 TCVR lenses. These are stunningly good optically. They're almost perfect, and you do get the built-in teleconverters, which are really nice, but both of those lenses are almost $20,000. So Jordan and I thought that we would talk about lenses that are maybe a little bit more accessible and reasonable for most people out there. So Jordan's pick is going to be the 400mm f4.5 VR. This is a fairly walk-around portable lens. It's compact enough that you can carry it without using a monopod in a lot of situations, and it's crazy sharp. It's also the most affordable lens of the ones that we have here as an option, and it does give you a fairly decent amount of light with that f4.5 aperture. If you're in wildlife situations where 400mm is enough, this is a great choice. I do personally feel, though, that I want to have a little bit more telephoto reach just to cover my bases. I have used the 800 f6.3, and it's a fantastic lens, but it's a big lens as well. I'm going to split the difference and go with my choice, the 600mm f6.3. You're getting a great amount of versatility with that 600mm lens. It's kind of a Goldilocks zone for a lot of wildlife shooting. I'm okay with the f6.3 aperture, and although it's going to break the bank, it's not going to break it as bad as one of those TC lenses will. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed our picks for our favorite Nikon Z mount lenses. Nikon's actually done a really good job of fleshing out their line. They've got compact primes, they've got very high-end professional primes, they've got wildlife covered, general purpose covered. In fact, pretty much the only things that we want to see Nikon improve when it comes to their lens mount, open up more choices for third-party lenses. I've done it a little bit, they've dipped their toe, but we'd like to see them go further down that rabbit hole. And also, they do need a good, bright, ultra-wide lens for astrophotography. That's something that they still haven't really touched. Well, I hope you prospective Z mount lens buyers found this useful, or maybe you already have these lenses, you just want to comment and let us know what your favorite choices are. We'd love to hear that as well. Do also check out the Petapixel podcast. It's on the same channel, of course, or you can find it on all your favorite podcasting apps. You just got to search for Petapixel podcast, and all the comments you leave here, we answer those on the show every single week. And one last thing, I've been wearing this shirt, and now you guys all know what Loka is. So if you want to have this very shirt yourself, or many of the other cool shirts that we have, go to store.petapixel.com and check out our merch store and see all of the cool t-shirts and hoodies available. You can order them today. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon with more on Petapixel.